Hey there, football fans. Here we are, week number 6 of Nick's Who Gives a Crap football update, aka Nick by the Buffalo. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. This week is not a fun week for me to get on here and talk about football because me and my teams got kicked in the proverbial crotch, so to speak. It was not a fun week for me in football. As you know, all the teams that I love and admire took one to the chin this week. My two teams that I root for, Texas Tech and Oklahoma State, played. I told you the last video, I'm always an Oklahoma State loyal fan when they play each other in football, and Texas Tech brought it to us. It was a butt whipping all over the field. Texas Tech showed up to play. Oklahoma State did not show up to play. However, I'm still wearing my Oklahoma State today in support. Looking for us to take this bye week, as Oklahoma State's off this week, to get things lined out and get ready for homecoming in a couple of weeks there in Stillwater, where I'll be ready to watch them bounce back, hopefully. So, tough week. Texas Tech played outstanding. Jet Duffy, I don't know where that kid came from. That's not the quarterback I talked about a few videos ago that showed up this week. Did outstanding. So, not going to talk much more about that. Most of you this week are that are OU fans that might follow my channel are probably fully absorbed in the Red River rivalry. It's not really a game that I ever really get excited for. Not as because I'm not a fan of either school, so I really don't have anything in that game. Don't have any. I usually don't even watch the game, to be honest with you. And this week will be no different. I won't be watching it as well. So I'm not going to talk about a game that I don't have any business talking about, and I'm going to move along. So I've been promising for a couple of weeks to do a breakdown of all the teams in the NFL and kind of discuss records and if they're real, not for real. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to break it down. I'm actually going to hit on every team, but I'm going to try to do a quick blip on each team, not spend a whole lot of time here on them. But I've got my list of teams. So if you'll, gonna shake the mirror or shake the camera up there a little bit. So let me start off with the New England Patriots. Got to start there, right? The 5-0 New England Patriots. They are the real deal. My 2 cents on that. I'm going to give you my 2 cents on a quick breakdown, just a couple of words on that one. Amazing defense. Amazing defense is what's leading the New England Patriots to this record. A couple of games came down to the wire. Buffalo had a chance to win that game a couple of weeks ago. I do think that they're a little bit misleading as far as being some dominating team. Their strength of schedule has really been weak. They really have not played too many teams so far, and they have a pretty good schedule the rest of the year. So I do feel like they're going to be the team that will make it deep into the postseason. My preseason pick in the AFC was the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a miserable pick. So I feel like the New England Patriots, we may be seeing them again in the Super Bowl. Right behind them in that division, the Buffalo Bills. They are 4-1. I don't know how Buffalo's doing this. They're doing it as well with good defense. I'm not a huge fan of Josh Allen for a lot of reasons. I'm not a fan of that kid. I won't get into him on this video. However, Buffalo Bills, to me, a little bit of fool's gold. I don't think you're going to see that team at the end of the stretch being a real powerful team going down to the wire into the playoffs. I would still expect Buffalo to miss out on the playoffs, even with their record that they're sitting at right now. The New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins, both 0-4. Are the records for both those teams. I'm going to lump them both together because they're both equally not very good. The reason the Jets, I think, will be better than the Miami Dolphins is because Sam Darnold, the quarterback with mono, returns this week, actually returns against my Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully it's not a good return. Hopefully it's a disappointing return for Sam Darnold as he takes on the Dallas Cowboys. But the Jets will be able to pull off a few wins as the season goes. Their defense is good enough. Sam Darnold, I think, is a good quarterback. I think he'll be able to get them a few wins there. Still looking at that New York Jets team probably to only win maybe 5 to 6 games when it's all said and done. The Miami Dolphins are the Miami Dolphins. They are awful. So the Dolphins, I mean, let's be honest, we're looking at maybe 1 to 3 wins is the ceiling there for the Dolphins. I don't think they're going to go the magical 0-16, but I do see them having a rough season all year round. Baltimore Ravens, 3-2. So the Baltimore Ravens, everybody, remember I told you people jump out there at the beginning of the season when a team starts off real hot and they're like, oh, this team's destined for the Super Bowl, or this team's looking outstanding. And the Baltimore Ravens are that team. That team jumped out. Everybody was all over Lamar Jackson. Always a great quarterback. I've never been a fan of these run first type quarterbacks in the NFL. It just doesn't last long. And you're starting to see him kind of get figured out a little bit, I think, over the last couple of weeks. I think Baltimore, though, is in that. This is honestly probably the worst division in all of football. All these teams just are underwhelming, to say the least. So Baltimore, I think, will win that division when it's said and done. Because right behind them is Cleveland at 2-3. It would be way too easy for me to pile on this week with that comedic performance that they put on Monday Night Football against the 49ers. That's just too easy. I mean, I don't like to just do layups. I think I'll let the rest of everybody talk about the breakdowns for the Cleveland Browns. They do have a good schedule. I said it the last video, though. They can win some games. They can go on a streak of wins, and they could pull out an 8-8 season still. I still feel like that's possible for the Cleveland Browns. But I've been well documented on what I think there. It is interesting that I hear some rumors about them wanting to trade Odell Beckham. That's kind of, I'll just move along from that since I kind of called that one. Pittsburgh 1-4. Pittsburgh, my Super Bowl pick preseason. Things have not gone well for Pittsburgh. Injury. The team's just not looking good at all. Their defense is coming around. I have been impressed with the way the Pittsburgh defense is playing. That defense, I think, will help that team win more games as they go down the stretch. Mason Rudolph's played okay. They really have kept the training wheels on him. He took just a brutal hit this week. Very made me nauseous, to be honest with you, when I saw it. But it sounds like he's going to be all right. Hopefully he'll be back in the next week or two. So there's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati Bengals 0-5. Cincinnati Bengals not good at all. They have had some close games, but when it comes down to it, the Bengals just don't have a lot going on. Houston Texans 3-2. The Houston Texans, the fighting Deshaun Watsons, as I would like to call them. They have obviously J.J. Watt on the defensive side, some good players on the defensive side, DeAndre Hopkins. They've got playmakers, so that's what makes them dangerous. However, I'm not a big believer in the head coach there, Bill O'Brien. I just don't think he's going to be able to get that team far. They should be able to make it into the playoffs in that division. I think they'll win that division, but I just don't see them contending for the Super Bowl this year. Indianapolis Colts 3-2, overachievers extraordinaire. So that team that lost Andrew Luck at the beginning of the season has had some impressive wins, including beating Kansas City this past week. I think they're about a 500 team as well. Jacksonville Jaguars 2-3, Minshew Mania. The Garden Minshew, Jacksonville Jaguars. They play hard. They're fun to watch. Not a very good team, though. Very poorly coached. Not a fan at all of that team and what they're capable of doing down the stretch. Tennessee 2-3. Boring. That's all I'm going to say about Tennessee. They're a boring team to watch. Kansas City 4-1. One of the most exciting offenses to watch. One of the most embarrassing defenses to watch. So that defense and that lack of running game is something to really watch down the stretch for Kansas City. I fear that those two things are what's going to keep them from being able to go into the Super Bowl this year. I kind of get worried about what Bill Belichick could do against that Kansas City team, and they've really struggled the last couple of weeks. They need Tyreek Hill back in that offense. Oakland 3-2. I said before the season I thought Oakland was going to do better than people thought they were going to do, and not giving them enough credit. They're not a playoff team, but Oakland's going to win some more games that people don't expect. They have a winning record. A lot of people would not have expected them to have a winning record, but they've kind of circled the wagons over some of their preseason shenanigans with Antonio Brown. The Los Angeles Chargers 2-3. I can't figure out the Chargers. I wish I could come on here and explain to you what the deal is with them. They've had a ton of injuries. That's a big part of it. But that team should always do better than they do. They're always an underperforming team. The Denver Broncos 1-4. The Denver Broncos are one of the best. They're probably the best 1-4 team that's in football. Joe Flacco is a little underwhelming. He has been a little bit this season, but they've got two good running backs there in Royce Freeman and Phillip Lindsay. They've got some good playmakers at wide receiver. Cortland Sutton is a guy I'm really a fan of, young wide receiver. Emmanuel Sanders always does his thing. And the defense has good playmakers on it as well. So Denver, I think, will finish stronger as the season progresses. Let's move over to the NFC. The Dallas Cowboys 3-2. Yeah, the last couple of weeks have been rough. New Orleans and Green Bay are good teams. I would like to have seen Dallas play a little better than they have in those games. We'll see. You have going to get plenty of information from me on the Dallas Cowboys, so I'll move along. Philadelphia is 3-2 as well. Philadelphia, everybody wants to crown Philadelphia, crown Philadelphia. I want to wait and see on Philadelphia. I think that they have some good playmakers. I'm not a huge Carson Wentz fan. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he gets a little too much credit as being an elite quarterback, and he hasn't really done a whole lot, in my opinion, to this point. But we'll see what happens there. The New York Giants 2-3. Daniel Jones is making a difference for them. They've got some good players. If they get Saquon Barkley back, I think the Giants can win some more games. I really wanted to pick them to upset New England this week. So I really wouldn't be surprised if it happens. However, there's just so many injuries that the Giants have. They're down a lot of players on offense, and I think it's just going to be too tall of a task for them to win tonight. However, if they are able to pull it off, I'm going to be the first to say I'm not surprised, because I do feel like there's an opportunity here with that game sitting where it is, where they can maybe get up there and snip and get the Patriots. I'd look for that game to be more competitive than people think it might be. Washington Redskins, dumpster fire, 0-5. If you know me, I hate the Washington Redskins. Washington Redskins are the team I loathe the most in all pro sports. So I couldn't enjoy the 0-5 start any more than I have. And then they fired their coach, which I think is a mistake. So not looking for much good things to happen there for Washington as we've played out. Green Bay 4-1. They've just played well. Their defense has showed up. Aaron Rodgers has not even really been the guy that's driven this team throughout the season. It's been that defense and the running game. Aaron Jones is a player that I will no longer be a fan of with the way that game went last week. I'm not a fan of Aaron Jones. Detroit Lions 2-1. Another one of those teams I think that's overachieving a little bit, doing a little better than people thought they would. Matt Patricia's a good coach, I think, but a little undisciplined. They're a little inconsistent. Inconsistency's been like the tail of Matthew Stafford since he's been in the league. I think you're going to see more inconsistency there. They're going to have great weeks and they're going to have just bad weeks. Chicago 3-2. Chicago, I think, is in some trouble. They try to go off of their defense to win a lot of the games, but there's just not enough talent on the offensive side of the ball to help get Chicago to the point where they were last year. I really don't think Chicago's going to make the playoffs this year, which brings us to Minnesota, who's also 3-2. That division is just going to beat up on each other. It's kind of funny because there's a lot of defensive teams in that division, not a lot of good offensive balance throughout that division. Got a good players here and there. Dalvin Cook's playing outstanding, the running back for the Minnesota Vikings. But I think Minnesota's got something missing. You know, obviously Kirk Cousins is not doing well. I just think that division is going to beat up on itself. New Orleans Saints 4-1, one of the most impressive teams so far throughout the season. When Drew Brees went down, a lot of people thought that team was going to go downhill, including myself. However, Sean Payton is probably the second best coach in the NFL behind Bill Belichick. The guy is amazing. The guy is adjusting on the fly and putting this team in a position to win. Very impressive. New Orleans very well could be in the Super Bowl. The Los Angeles Rams were my preseason pick. We'll get to them here in a minute, but I think New Orleans has a chance to really make it to the Super Bowl this year. Carolina 3-2. Carolina is just a joke. Cam Newton scenario, Josh Allen. Now they've got a guy that is super serious, and that's Christian McCaffrey. That guy, really honestly, is playing as the best running back in the NFL right now. It's amazing what that kid's doing. He's carrying that whole team really on his back. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2-3. Bruce Arians has the offense attacking. That's kind of what he does. That's kind of his MO. So Tampa Bay is going to have some good weeks, some bad weeks. They're not going to be good enough at the end of the day to compete. Jameis Winston is not very good with taking care of the football. They've got a good player on defense here and there, but not going to contend. 1-4 Atlanta. I don't know. See also the Los Angeles Chargers. The Atlanta Falcons and the Chargers, both these teams are just like, I don't understand what's going on there. I don't understand, with all the talent that the Falcons have, why that team isn't performing better than they have been. San Francisco 49ers, 4-0. What? 4-0 San Francisco 49ers. And they're doing it by playing a 1950s style of football. They're running the ball more than anybody has seen in 50 years, where they're just pound. I don't know that that's going to take them very far throughout the whole season. Jimmy Garoppolo is a average quarterback, in my opinion. He's not a very superstar level quarterback. The defense is playing well. Coach Coached very well. Shanahan's done an outstanding job coaching that team. They will be in the running, but the problem for San Francisco is that they play in a very, very good division, which has got Seattle that's 4-1, and I think Seattle will win that division. Actually, because Seattle has had Russell Wilson, who, in my opinion, has been the MVP to this point in the NFL season. The guy's playing outstanding football. It's like we forget about Russell Wilson every couple of years, and he reminds us he's still in the league and he has won Super Bowls. The Los Angeles Rams, my preseason pick, there's something wrong there as well. I kind of feel like the league is figuring out the Wonder Boy Sean McVay a little bit, figuring him out and figuring out what he's all about, and that's not really kind of showing that they're. I think people are talking about them not running the ball, Todd Gurley not being 100%. I don't know if so much Todd Gurley or is it just the scheme that they're doing this year. It's just not working. Arizona Cardinals 1-3. That team is not going to do anything this year. Cliff Kingsbury is not an NFL coach. Kyler Murray is absolutely not an NFL quarterback. People are getting excited about the plays he makes with his legs. That's not going to sustain for them. That's not going to help them be anything this year. But nobody was expecting Arizona Cardinals to be anything anyway. So that's my quick rundown. I tried to be as quick as possible with the 32 teams. I feel like we're starting to see things lining out now. I'm going to adjust, like I said, from the Steelers and the Rams as my preseason picks. I think right now I would probably, if I had to pick it today, I would put New England and probably New Orleans in the Super Bowl. That obviously won't happen. It'll change again as we move forward. I'm hoping to see Dallas bounce back this week. For the love of God, please bounce back this week against the Jets. Anyway, once again, I want to thank you guys for that are tuning in, watching the channel. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. If you think I'm full of crap, give me the thumbs down. If you haven't and you would like to, I would really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you felt about me jazzing it up a little bit there, putting some music, some intros and outros and things like that. I'm going to try to do a little bit more of that this week, hopefully make it a little bit more jazzed up for you. But thank you. I want to let you know, I hope you have a blessed football weekend. Take care.